Hello, Taurus. Welcome to Soul Good. I'm Amber Marie, and this is your 2023 Tarotscope. If you're curious about the decks that I'm using today, you can find a list of them in the description box below. You can also find links to my social media accounts, as well as links to information on personal readings and the Soul Good membership channel on Telegram. There will also be a timestamp in the description box if you would like to jump to the start of the reading. Okay, I also would like to remind you that this is a collective reading, not a personal reading, so please only take what resonates with you and leave the rest. I'm so excited to be jumping in, so let's do that. All right, Taurus, what is a theme for you for 2023? What is Taurus's theme for 2023, please? Father, Mother, Life, Universe, Spirits, Guides, Angels, our cosmic team, our ancestors, our higher selves. Wow, that was fast. All right, what is a shift or an epiphany that will take place for you, Taurus, in 2023, please? What is a shift or an epiphany that will take place for you in 2023? Taurus, a shift or an epiphany, please. Thank you. What is your biggest asset, Taurus, for 2023? What is Taurus's biggest asset for 2023, please? Quite a few assets you got going on there. Okay, and what might Taurus have an opportunity to learn, please, in 2023? What does Taurus have an opportunity to learn? Thank you. What does Taurus's soul want them to know for 2023, please? What does Taurus's soul want them to know for 20? Thank you. What does God, Source, Universe, whatever you call it, what does God, Source, Universe want Taurus to know for 2023, please? What does God want Taurus to know for 2023? All right, there it is. Thank you. And what is a blessing that Taurus will have the opportunity to receive? All right, there they are. Thank you. Let's get some clarity. Tell us more, please, about Taurus's theme for 2023. Tell us, wow, okay, thank you. Tell us more about a shift or an epiphany that will take place for Taurus in 2023, please. Okay. Tell us about Taurus's biggest asset for 2023. Thank you. Tell us more about what Taurus might have an opportunity to learn. Whoa, let's try that again. That's a lot of cards. Tell us more about what Taurus, thank you. Much better. Tell us more about what Taurus's soul wants them to know, please. Thank you. Tell us more about what God wants Taurus to know. Thank you. And tell us more about a blessing that Taurus might have an opportunity to receive. Tell us more. Thank you. Okay, that one too. I don't know if you were able to see that. It might have been off screen, but this one was sliding down my arm and I was like trying to catch it, so it's coming out for you. All right, Taurus, let's jump in. Let's see what your theme is for 2023. You have all that glitters. All right, so I feel like for 2023, it just feels to me really, Taurus, that it's going to be more about, how do I word this? Seeing through seeing through things, right? Like I actually get this, it's interesting, seeing past the surface of things, right? Because I feel like for some of you, things could have looked appealing on the outside, right? They could have looked very, I don't even know what the word is. Like I'm getting it because of that Venus energy that you bring, right? It's that like aesthetic, the luxury, the how it might feel, right? Type of thing. And it feels to me like for you, Taurus, in 2023, this theme is really about seeing through all of that. I think it's like getting down to what is really, really super important and what isn't. And it's fascinating because it's not that I don't feel like you are appreciative. I do. I absolutely do. And it's not that I don't feel like you are, what is the word? It's not that I don't feel like you acknowledge your blessings, because I also feel like that is true. But for some reason, I feel like there are things that maybe have something to do with your beliefs where it looks good on paper, but like why? Right? I don't know what it is. It's like seeing through the surface of why some of these things are important to you, right? It's really fascinating to me because for some of you, yeah, it might be about like the aesthetic, the luxury of things, like how it feels, right? That very, again, very Venusian energy. But for most of you, it really feels to me like it's more about what it looks like on paper and why you want whatever it is versus what's the reality, what's the truth, right? And a good example of this for some, I don't feel like everyone will resonate with this. If anyone, maybe no one will. I don't know. But it's just the example that's coming up in my head. Like for some, marriage looks good on paper, right? Or the idea of marriage sounds like something that you want or you think you want it, right? But like why, right? That's what I mean. Like, what's beneath the I feel like it's about exposing things beneath the surface, right? For some reason, that's coming up. Let's see what the tarot has to say. Got the Three of Swords. Three of Swords is heartbreak, suffering, and grief. Yeah, and that's the thing. I feel like sometimes the things that look good on the surface or look appealing to our eye aren't necessarily what's good for us, right? It can be things or bring things that cause heartbreak, grief, or suffering. Okay, I feel like another part of this, Taurus, for some of you is it feels to me almost like this heartbreak over, it's like building your identity up around something and then coming to find out that it's not all that you thought it would be. And that creates this heartbreak, like grief, right? Like you are essentially going to grieve the identity that you've built, right? And for some, right, maybe it's the dream of like marriage. Again, I don't know why this keeps coming up, Taurus. Maybe a lot of you have had marriage heavily on the mind or something, but it feels like that. It feels like, oh, I really had my whole reality built around getting married someday and, this and that and whatever it is. But now I'm in a space where it doesn't make as much sense, right? And so you essentially have to like grieve what you had built your reality around. It's really interesting. Also have the World here in reverse. Yeah, because these things that are shiny and appealing to the eye, ultimately what ends up happening more often than not is that we're left with this emptiness. It doesn't fill what we thought it would fill, right? The things that are shiny and look really great aren't actually what we want. It's what we think we want, right? Which is swords energy anyways. It's the mind. It's what we have, taken on beliefs or programming or whatever it is to create this idea that it's what we want when it's not actually what we want. Really interesting. So Taurus, I feel like for some of you, or for if this is resonating or resonates with you, I feel like for you could be experiencing this type of severing, if you will, from ideas or items, ways of being that you had built up that looked or seem really appealing, really shiny, but maybe aren't really all they're cracked up to be, right? Or maybe doesn't have the same weight that you thought it did. right? Maybe you uncover something, some sort of truth about whatever it is that you could have built your life upon, or build a reality on, or an identity on, and come to find out it's not what you thought it was. Right. And even it feels to me like even if you're able to obtain it, it's like it leaves you feeling empty. Right. It's really fascinating. You do have the number 16 here with this all that glitters card, and so that might be an important number for you. Maybe it's a date or signifies something important. Let's take a look at a shift or an epiphany that could take place for you, Taurus. You do, oh, beautiful. You have peace here. That's fascinating. I feel like you could find, it's interesting, Aries, or, ooh, some of you may be dealing with an Aries. That's not something that happens to me very often. Okay? So you could be dealing with an Aries, some of you. But I feel like a Taurus, a shift or an epiphany that could take place for you is like you may be ridding yourself of the things that were really, I don't even know how to word it, like really weren't what they seemed to be, right? Or they weren't as deep for you as maybe they could have been if they were like your truth, right? If it was like the reality of things, something, right? And you, maybe you built an identity around these things. Maybe it's a person. There are two masks in this card here. Okay. So maybe things don't turn out to be what you thought. Okay. Maybe it's with a person, doesn't have to be. This could be your own internal relationship with yourself, right? How you experience the world internally as well. But with this Three of Swords, like I feel like you could potentially experience some sort of heartbreak, because it's like, for me, it feels like this unraveling of what you thought you were, or what you thought you wanted, or what you worked so hard toward, right? And then suddenly realizing that whatever that is not going to bring the fulfillment that you thought or wanted, right? And it's interesting because I feel like if you can acknowledge that, Taurus, I feel like what comes is this shift, this huge shift that brings about peace, because essentially it feels to me like there's this feeling of like discomfort because you were not in alignment with things, right? It wasn't your truth. And so it could have been creating some sort of, I mean, I keep getting the word chaos. I don't know if that resonates with you, but it could have felt chaotic. And acknowledging that things are what they are, and allowing them to be what they are, and moving through the grief that you need to, right? And experiencing what you need to, I feel could create or bring about this shift, and bring this peace that maybe you weren't expecting. Okay? This is the number 23. That might be important to you. You do have the Six of Pentacles here to clarify this peace card. And the Six of Pentacles is about, I mean, really it's about like generosity, right? Sharing, charity. Interesting. Interesting. For some of you, I feel like there's this shift from being hyper focused on the material world, or being hyper focused on, maybe it's a job, or again, obtaining something, right? You could have been hyper focused on that and then found out that it doesn't bring you that fulfillment that you thought. And so I feel like what could take place with this shift is that you may find peace and comfort and a new, I don't even know how to word it, like it feels like home, like a new home is what I'm getting, really, in being charitable, being giving, right? That's interesting. It's so interesting to me. I don't know why. I don't know who this is for, but it feels like a freaking Hallmark movie. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, it doesn't matter if you're male, female, it don't matter. It feels like a freaking Hallmark movie. Like one where there's like this miserly person who's like, you know, focused on material things. It's like a Christmas Carol, right? And then all of a sudden they realize that it's not fulfilling. It's not going to bring them peace. It's not going to bring them happiness. And so then they start giving and sharing and being charitable and that sort of thing. And suddenly they find this beautiful peace. It's literally what it feels like to me. So I don't know if you resonate with that, or maybe you've been watching a lot of Hallmark movies or something, Taurus. I don't know what is going on. right? But that's what it feels like to me. Let's see what your biggest assets are for 2023. You have a few here. You have mending. Okay, so one of your biggest assets, Taurus, is healing. And it makes sense, even based on what's come through in this theme part here, portion, right? And even in this where you find peace and giving, right? Sharing, maybe it's being open, being vulnerable to people. Maybe you were closed off before. Maybe you were wearing a mask. Maybe you were pretending like you've got it all together and you really don't. Maybe that's what the glitter is. Maybe you've been the one wearing the glitter, Taurus. I don't know. Maybe that's why you felt empty. Maybe you've been wearing a mask, making everybody believe that everything is glitter, gold, fine, and shiny. And really inside, you've been experiencing this heartbreak or grief that's been leaving you feeling empty. And maybe you find peace in sharing that with people, right? People close to you. Maybe it's your partner, maybe it's your family, maybe, whatever it is. So if you don't resonate with the like Christmas Carol switcheroo story, maybe that's what it is, right? And maybe that's why this mending is coming up as being your biggest asset. Either way, it could be your biggest asset, right? This is, again, the number 52. I don't know if I said that or not. It could be important to you, right? These could be ages, birthdays, addresses, favorite numbers, license plates. It could be so many things, you guys, okay? But I share them so that, there could be something additional for someone that those numbers are important to. But I definitely feel like healing is your biggest asset, Taurus, and being open to that, right? In order to heal, you have to be open to experiencing whatever you need to. You have to be open to taking accountability for yourself, taking responsibility for yourself, right? And a lot of times that has to do with looking at where you've dishonored yourself, lied to yourself, or potentially others, where you haven't had the ability to forgive yourself or forgive other people. And oftentimes people don't want to do that. It's not a road that many people like to go down, right? Um, so it appears to be your biggest asset as you move through 2023, right? Just being open to allowing healing to take place. You also have here breathe. This is the number 29. Yeah, I mean, being more at peace with things is going to be your biggest asset, right? And I feel this keeps showing up for 2023. Overall, like in my membership readings, and it showed up in some other Zodiac Tarotscopes that I've done, right? And I feel like our biggest asset is going to be not being able to be knocked off our access by external things, by anything, right? Essentially, and here's the thing I want to share about that, Taurus. It's not to say that you're not going to experience emotions or that you're not going to experience different situations that make you uncomfortable, right? Because you will. It's about not being knocked off your access. It's basically not letting it shift you from, for example, being in a high vibe mentality where you're positive, you're thinking the best, you're open to healing, you're open to taking responsibility. You understand that things happen for you, not to you. You understand that challenges are meant to help you grow, right? You could be in that sort of space and then have something happen where you're questioning your truth, where you're, maybe feeling a little sad or depressed. And it's okay to feel those things, right? That's that. So I want to make it very clear. But being knocked off your axis means you're pushed off from your space of, feeling like you've got things under control, or feeling like you're moving through things the way you would like to, and then suddenly having something push you and knock you into the space of now you're depressed for weeks on end. That's not how things are supposed to go. Yes, you're supposed to be feeling emotions and feeling things. It's part of being a human being, but you're not supposed to get stuck in those, right? Those things that come up are meant to be showing you something and teaching you something so that you move through it. Staying on your axis means being able to navigate things. Okay? So I feel like this breathe card showing up for you, Taurus, is saying one of your biggest assets for 2023 is being able to stay on your axis, to stay in your space, breathe through whatever it is you find yourself experiencing. right? Go meditate on it. Go pray about it. Come back to your center, right? That's going to be one of your biggest assets. Being able to do that, putting that into practice. Okay, interesting. You have orphaned here. Okay, this is the number 5. Could be important. And I feel like this is your, how do I word this? I've honest, it feels like your biggest asset is going to be taking that time to go inward, taking that time to look at yourself, right? I'm going to pull the book out for this one. I want to read the oracle message because there may be additional things there with this card, but it really feels to me like this being an asset looks like being able to deal with your internal things, right? That I don't know why I'm seeing it that way. I don't know that I've ever seen this card this way, but that's how it's showing up. It's like being able to go within, look within, and if you, not that she's looking in necessarily at herself, I don't know if you can see, but she is kind of like, you know, her head is down, and I would almost imagine that her eyes are likely pointed, you know, towards her body in some way, shape, or form. So it's just giving me these very like looking inward vibes. I do feel like there's fear coming up though. You might have fear of being alone or dealing with something alone or feeling like you're dealing with something alone. Or maybe you have been dealing with something alone that's creating fear within you. And it feels to me like, again, the biggest asset could be like really actually dealing with it. There's strength to be found, right? It's interesting because if you find yourself this year dealing with something alone that maybe you're like really upset about, I feel like there's a need for you to understand that this is a blessing because it is meant to be showing you, or rather this, yeah, it's a blessing, but it's an asset because it's meant to be building that strength that you have to deal with things on your own. Okay. So it does say here a sense of loss in the essential meanings, an identity crisis, recognizing that you don't fit in, which is a big asset, the need to belong, or uncertainty about your place. And the oracle's message is we were all meant to have connections with other people within our families, society, and the larger culture. No man is an island, and it's important to recognize when being a part of, rather than separate from, is essential to your well being. The issue at hand is the need to find where you fit in. Be true to your core truths and values. Perhaps you no longer identify with a group or community the way you did before and need to find a new situation. You might be feeling a deep sense of loss or confusion. Address the need for belonging and know that you will find your place with others of like mind and spirit. It's okay to let go of pressure to fit in. Not everyone will understand you. It's time to move on. So, your biggest asset, Taurus, is recognizing again that not everybody's going to understand you. And it feels similarly to this, for some, like take that mask, right? Like it's okay to let go of the pressure to fit in. Like I was talking about, maybe some have put a lot of weight or, you know, um, importance on getting married, like the contract of marriage, right? And it really does feel to me, Taurus, like, well, are you doing that because it's something that you genuinely feel you want in your heart and soul, and it's going to make a difference to you, it means that much to you, or is it because of society's programming and beliefs that have told you that that's important, that's what needs to happen, right? That's how people express their love or whatever, right? And addressing that need to not have to do that, right? To be different. Okay. It's very interesting to me. What's the tarot have to say about your biggest asset? Interesting. Ace of Swords in the reverse. This is an energy of confusion. Um, chaos even. Yeah, yeah. Okay, thank you, Lord. Yeah, okay, so it feels to me like this is showing up to clarify that your biggest asset is being able to maintain your stuff while you feel like there's confusion and chaos and things taking place, right? Maybe others are confused. Maybe you're confused about what's going on in your external reality. Maybe there's chaos going on in your external reality or, in the world. Or maybe there's chaos or confusion or whatever going on with somebody else. And it's about you focusing on your healing, making your asset, like making these things your asset, right? Like focusing on your healing, maintaining that ability to stay on your access and recognizing that you just see things differently. I feel is what's going to be your asset, right? Being able to navigate that confusion or chaos with these things is going to be a huge asset for you, I feel. Fascinating. Fascinating. What do you have an opportunity to learn in 2023, Taurus? Here and now. So being present in the moment is going to be something. This is the number 32. Okay. But this could be something that is challenging or difficult to face. And um, I feel like you have the opportunity to learn how to be more present in the here and now, right? It's interesting, Taurus, because for some of you, I feel like you have the ability to be present. And I feel like there are times that you are to a point, but it feels like, and some of you may have experienced this for yourself, because what it feels like to me, I've experienced this. I know I've done this to people, not intentionally, of course, um, but where someone else is talking to you and you're like, "Yep, I'm listening," but then your mind is just like off somewhere, right? And you like, instead of bringing yourself back, you just let it keep going, right? Um, for whatever reason, I feel like that is something that you're going to have the opportunity to learn more on in 2023. For some of you, it's also about taking responsibility for being present in the moment, because I feel like for some of you, um, you may be getting called out. Like it feels like you're never really here, or it feels like you're here but not here, right? You may have heard that. This could be something that you have the opportunity to learn from in 2023. For some of you as well, I feel like you're learning the value of being in the here and now, being present in the moment. I feel like for some of you, it could be making incredible changes in your life, being in the here and now. I feel like you could be recognizing or observing things that you may have missed previously. So, another thing you may have the opportunity to learn, this is interesting, you have a leg up here. This is the number 34. I feel like for some of you, this could be literally like the opportunity to learn through somebody else assisting you, someone else being helpful to you, someone else mentoring you, right? Giving you that oomph. Like it feels to me like, um, I don't know how many would have actually experienced something like this, but like, maybe you're carrying like a bunch of boxes or something, and someone's like, "Oh, do you want some help?" You're like, "No, I'm fine. I've got it." Even though you're like dropping the boxes, basically, right? I feel like for some of you, the lesson is like learning how to take that leg up, learning how to take that hand that's offered out to you, right? Learning to accept that assistance, right? That leg up, learning how to, yeah, like learning how to allow yourself to do that. I'm going to read here the oracle message for this card. There could be something else here, so let's take a look. I feel like, yeah, it feels to me like for some of you, you may have people wanting to help you in 2023 with something. Maybe it's something really big. Maybe it's something you feel is overwhelming enough for you, let alone someone else, or something like that. I don't know why I'm getting that. But it feels like there's this encouragement, if you will, to take the hand that's offered to you. And that could be a challenge. Maybe you're somebody who's like, I got it. I can do it by myself, right? Very like tough kind of thing. So yeah, it says here a leg up, receiving help, delegating authority, or interdependence. You've come to a point where going it alone is no longer optimal for you. Life has a way of presenting you with the perfect people to align with who can give you a leg up during this next phase of your journey. Help comes to you in all areas of your life where you need a boost. The trick is to accept that aid so freely given. When you embrace interdependence, allowing teamwork and independence to commingle, miracles happen. Now is such a time. So, yeah, again, I mean, for many people, it's difficult to accept help. But I feel like this is a lesson that you are learning in 2023. We have the Nine of Pentacles here in reverse to clarify. Nine of Pentacles in reverse is really, I mean, here's the thing. It's this energy of like spiritual material abundance. In the reverse, I would say it's probably or more likely the lack of. Okay. This is also an energy of like living beyond your means, being obsessed with work. And for some of you, this being obsessed with work could potentially be where you're missing out on the here and now, where you're refusing to get to help, to allow help, right? Maybe you have, like I said, maybe you're going through something where you're like, this is so big for me, I can't possibly ask anybody else to take it on either, right? And this is where you are essentially like living beyond your means, right? Not accepting the help that's being offered to you. And I feel like this could be a huge lesson for you, right? To, I mean, really, honestly, to like acknowledge where you're at, accept where you are in the here and now, what's true in the present moment, which could be that you're essentially living beyond your means, or maybe being obsessed with work, or maybe feeling like, ooh, there's an interesting one too. Because in the upright, this can be about rewards. Here, if you're not living in the here and now, you're missing those. And it's funny because the Pentacles is the physical realm. It's right. So if you're not present in the moment, you're definitely missing the rewards that are offered in that moment. And they could be opportunities for you, doors that open for you to give you that leg up, that help. Okay? Fascinating. Fascinating. So I feel like while this is like a card of like living beyond your means, I feel like for some of you that is true. Like in like financially, living beyond your means, perhaps, and you know, maybe you experienced that in 2023. I feel like more so it's about the rewards that come from you being present in the moment, and the doors that open, the opportunities that are presented to you in those moments, and that you could miss those, right? Or you may have been missing those because you haven't been able to allow help, or because you haven't been able to be present in the moment fully. So yeah, that could definitely be a hard lesson to learn for sure. Wow. Holy crap. So Taurus, you have the Nine of Pentacles in reverse, followed by the Nine of Cups in the upright. Nine of Cups is satisfaction, luxury, the universe manifesting or gifting you your desires. So essentially, the message that I'm getting for you here, Taurus, with this here and now and a leg up, and this Nine of Pentacles with this Nine of Cups, is if you allow yourself to see the opportunities that are presented to you because you're being present in the moment, it's likely that you'll experience that satisfaction. It's likely that you'll experience the universe giving you what you want, or at least what can help you, right? And that is a hard lesson to learn because you have to be willing to surrender. You have to be able to assert what it is you want and be willing to go after it. Right? You have to be willing to essentially be outside of the norms, right? To follow the doors that open without really knowing why or where it's going to lead to. That takes a lot of conviction, courage, decisiveness, right? What does your soul want you to know for 2023? Yeah, you have a deep knowing, Taurus. There are things, it's like your soul, I feel like you have this deep understanding about yourself, about where you need to be going, what you need to be doing, what is actually important to you. And I feel like this your soul wants you to know that beneath the surface there's this deeper side of yourself that is waiting to be discovered, waiting to be, it's like waiting to get to know you, or I don't even know how to explain that. But your soul wants you to know that there is this deep knowing within you that has been trying to speak to you and will speak to you through 2023. That's trying to guide you and lead you. And if you're honest with yourself, you will feel this. You will allow this. What do we have? What else do we have? Wow. Wow, the Fool in reverse. Right? I mean, here's the thing. The Fool is about new beginnings. It's about taking that leap of faith, having that courage, seeing the wonder in the unknown, right? Trusting the universe to catch you. You have it in the reverse. And I think your soul wants you to know there's a deep knowing. You know that if you leap, the universe is going to catch you. There's a deep knowing that you're not being tricked, right? You're not being taken advantage of. You're not being naive. There's a deep knowing within you, Taurus, that if you take that leap of faith and do what you feel in your soul is what you're supposed to be doing, moment by moment. I'm not just talking about your long-term life plan. I'm talking moment by moment. I think you know that the universe, God, source, whatever you call it, will catch you. Support that new beginning. That's a pretty powerful thing to come through from your soul. This is the number 43. I also think that there's a deep knowing. Yeah. And you have that leg up, right? And I'm saying, oh, it's the number 34, which is interesting because they're like mirrored, right? Or whatever. It's interesting because you have that with the leg up and the deep knowing, and me saying, like, I feel like you know that the universe will catch you, right? Yeah, there's a deep knowing. This is something you're going to be learning. And look at that leg up card, or knowing that the universe is going to catch you, knowing that there's support there available for you if you allow, is sitting underneath that 9 of Cups, which is all about the universe giving you what you need, what you want. You've got to release the fear. Got to release the fear, Taurus, because the universe is trying to align you with everything that you need for your soul journey, right? But you have to be willing to accept it, willing to allow it. What does God, or source, universe, whatever you like to refer to it as, I call it God, what does God want you to know? New life is on the horizon, but you have to be willing to take that leap, Taurus. Okay? For some of you, you could actually be experiencing new life in the sense of maybe you have a child in 2023. Maybe that's something for someone. Okay? That's definitely not for everybody, though. I want to make that very clear. But I do feel like for some, like, God wants you to know that there's this new life that's waiting to be birthed through you, right? And it doesn't necessarily have to be a person, right? A child. It could be a new business, a new creative endeavor, a new experience, right? Something that wants to be birthed through you, born through you, given new life. Okay. This is the number 39. Again, that could be important for some. This is interesting. This card keeps showing up. We have the Judgment in reverse here. And I feel, here's the thing. I feel like once you start aligning with the truths of your soul, when you get past the surface, you get down to that deep knowing of who you are, and you do experience new life. And with that new life, you lose, at least from my perspective, right? Oftentimes, you're reborn without that doubt, without that self-loathing or that lack of awareness. Like, these are the things that improve with this new life, or this opportunity for new life to be born, right? Or for you to be reborn. Okay? Because here's the thing. It feels to me like almost like God is saying, like, leave these things behind, right? Allow a new life to be born through you. Allow yourself to experience new life. Leave behind the doubt. Leave behind the self-loathing. Leave behind the lack of self-awareness. Start from this point, right? Let 2023 for you be a new life. Write a new story. Fantastic. So beautiful. What is the blessing? Oh, blessings. What are the blessings you'll have the opportunity to receive in 2023, Taurus? We have Yang here. Interesting. This is that masculine energy. Okay. So I feel like for some of you, one of the blessings that you'll have the opportunity to receive is the ability to be more in that masculine energy, right? To be more confident, more assertive, more clear, able to create better boundaries, right? Feeling like you have a direction or know what direction you're going, right? I feel like these are blessings that you could have the opportunity to receive. For some of you, I feel like you could be receiving blessings in the form of like a masculine energy. Okay, it doesn't have to be a male, though for some of you it might be. And I feel like you could be receiving support, okay, in that masculine energetic form, because it is supportive. And I feel for some reason, some of you have needed to feel supported in something. Okay. Yeah, I feel like that could be it for some of you. For others of you, I feel like it's the development of these traits within you that is the blessing that you have the opportunity to receive at this point, right? And it's interesting because you did just have this new life card, and now have this Yang card with these big flame, or big ball of flame, and it reminds me of like a phoenix, right? Like being reborn. You also have the Y here. So interestingly, Taurus, I feel like for some of you, you could actually be receiving the answer to a question that you had. You could have been asking why about certain things. And for some of you, I feel like that blessing is receiving the answer. So this is the number 1, the Yang card. I don't know if I mentioned that. And the number, or the Y card, is the number 31. So that might be important for someone. But it feels to me like some of you may have been asking why. And I feel like this year you may get that answered. And that may be a blessing for you. However, I am going to read the prosperity message for this card, and the essential meanings. I almost opened up right to the exact page. That's wild. Okay. So it says here, the essential meanings are motives driving intention, and the power of knowing why. So in the prosperity message, it says, knowing the motives behind your career and creative ventures is the ticket to your greatest success. It's time to ask yourself some probing questions. Are you driven by a desire to serve? Does your prosperity impact the greater good? When you envision your most prosperous life, are you guided by a sense of purpose, or by a need to make money, acquire things, save for the future, or all of these? No motive is bad or good, but having agendas hidden from yourself will lead to disappointment and possibly failure. Yeah. Didn't I say something about this already? This is blowing my mind. Be clear about why you want the things you do. If the motives are true, accept them. If they are not, change them so you can step into your extraordinary life. So, again, very similar to what I was speaking of with your theme, right? Is marriage something you want because it's something you actually want? Or is it because it's something you've been told you should want or have to have by society or culture or whatever it is, right? And maybe it's not even marriage, but apply that to anything. Exchange marriage with whatever word or whatever situation applies, right? I feel like this is a blessing for you, right? Finding out what the why is, finding out what your motives are. Huge blessing, right? Because if you align yourself with the intentions that are true for you, again, miracles happen. Look, yeah, Ace of Pentacles, opportunities, prosperity. Basically, God saying, I said what I said, right? This is a blessing you'll have the opportunity to receive if you're willing to be assertive, take action, and follow what is true for the highest good, what is true for serving others, what is true for you, right? What else do you have? The Five of Pentacles in the reverse. So the Five of Pentacles in the reverse is this energy of recovery, of charity, improvement. Okay. And so here's the thing. This is what I feel. Find your why, Taurus. What's the motives behind your why? Figure that out. Delve deep within yourself and figure that out so you can start making improvement in your life. And that's the blessing, right? With discovering this why, you start to recover from the things that weren't really your truth, anyways, right? And you can start improving on that space in your life. And it's really interesting because, again, the Five of Pentacles represents or can represent charity. And we were just talking about with this Y card, what are your motives? Is it because you're being called to serve? Is that the motive behind what you're doing? And the Five of Pentacles is about charity. So, I feel like the blessing is for you, Taurus, is figuring out what it is you want, like truly within your being, moving towards that, taking the opportunities that present themselves to you with certainty, with confidence, right? And delving deep into why it is you want what you want. And is it because it's something that you're feeling called to do to serve humanity for the better? Or is there some other motive? Super, super interesting reading for you, Taurus, for the month, or the year rather, I'm sorry, for the year of 2023. If there was something that resonated in this reading for you, please do the YouTube things by liking, sharing, or smashing that subscribe button. It really does help the channel to grow. YouTube will push it out to others who may be able to see this as well or be interested in seeing it, and will allow those people to view it, right? It'll put the video in front of them. So I really do appreciate you taking the time to do that. I appreciate your energy as well. As always, it's been an absolute pleasure to read for you, Taurus. I pray that your 2023 is full of blessings that are abundant and beautiful and full of awareness and consciousness and knowledge and courage to delve deep into the depths of who you are, to forgive, to move on, and to heal. Take care of your beautiful, amazing, magnificent soul, and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye.